Since the beginning of time, there has been a conflict that has produced numerous powerful creatures that compete with one another for survival. Most of them have little interest in humanity and are generally harmless because our immune systems can quickly neutralize their weaponry. However, there are several exceptions. The amoeba Naegleria Fowleri is featured in sensational headlines and has developed a lethal hunger for human brains. It is also a match for our defenses. What happens if this creature gets inside of you? One of the tiniest forms of life on Earth is the amoeba, or microbe with a nucleus, Naegleria Fowleri. It is an avid hunter of bacteria and other creatures, which it shreds into pieces and devours whole. Like many amoebae, it may change into many forms to aid in survival, but Naegleria Fowleri spends the most of its time in its trophozoite stage, in which it appears as a squishy blob with small arms and hunts, divides and thrives. Ponds, rivers, lakes, and hot springs are its native habitats. Unfortunately, when they are not properly maintained, it also feels wonderful in pipes, swimming pools, fountains, and spas. It thrives and multiplies more in warmer water. As a result, the likelihood of interaction between the two species is highest during the summer, when people are looking to cool off and have fun. Millions of people regularly come into touch with the amoeba because of this, especially in warmer areas, and many even appear to have antibodies against it. And most of this is okay. Even swallowing it won't have any negative effects. When individuals dive or swim in amoeba-infected water and water sprays high up into their noses, things get terrible. Millions of viruses, bacteria, and amoebae can be found in a single drop of lake water, which is not a big concern. Naegleria Fowleri, however, is unique. See what happens if we zoom in on the victim's nose when they are enjoying a pleasant summer day. The amoeba doesn't really want to be inside your nose to start with. It only wants to consume some bacteria. It isn't actually searching for problems. Instead, your natural defenses respond to it. Unfortunately for humans, Naegleria Fowleri is particularly adept at evading detection by your immune system. For instance, mucosa, a slime containing chemicals that either kill or stun potential intruders or warn immune cells, covers the inside of your nose. Naegleria Fowleri, however, is only minimally affected by them and instead chooses to leisurely observe the surroundings. If you're unlucky, the little creature may now accidentally come upon something that piques its curiosity. Nerve cells. A vast network of olfactory nerve cells line the inside of your nose, picking up molecules from the environment and sending their information to your brain's olfactory bulb, which is where smell is processed. These cells communicate with one another to carry out their tasks by releasing different messenger chemicals and identifying them with particular receptors. Acetylcholine is one of these substances that is crucial. By pure accident of evolution, Naegleria Fowleri has receptors that can identify acetylcholine, and it appears to draw them irresistibly, somewhat like how light draws moths. Naegleria Fowleri penetrates your tissue while your olfactory nerve cells carry out their duties and communicate with the brain using plenty of acetylcholine. It appears to follow the upstream chemical cues. Crazy suicide fighter neutrophils start attacking the amoebae. Individually, they have little chance against them because the invaders are strong, bulky combatants who are accustomed to taking on formidable foes. As a result, the defenders swarm the intruders and kill them either by literally ripping pieces of them off and devouring them, or by vomiting poisons that rip holes in them. The Naegleria Fowleri train is still moving, and despite the neutrophil attacks slowing them down, they are still moving in the direction of your brain via the olfactory nerves. You generally won't notice anything throughout the 1 to 9 days that this process can take. At that point, the amoebae enter your brain through the olfactory bulb, the center of smell. All of your brain cells release that beautiful acetylcholine because they are nothing more than helpless victims. A slaughter is started by Naegleria Fowleri, which also unleashes a barrage of other assault molecules. Some of them are essentially tiny explosives that, when they come in contact with your cells, rend holes in them, allowing their fragments to be greedily eaten. However, Naegleria Fowleri is currently spreading and getting really unsettling. It can grow up to a dozen suckers, known as food cups, that resemble enormous, creepy mouths while it is in a feeding frenzy. Your brain cells are engaged by the amoeba, which then sucks them in and rips out sizable bites of them while they are still alive. Now, the situation soon worsens and you begin to get the fatal illness. Millions of immune cells, including neutrophils, eosinophils, and microglia, enter the contaminated tissue after being alerted by the carnage, which is a concern because your immune system is not a careful combatant and is really risky. It's like setting a forest on fire and killing all the wolves inside. They were thinking about something incredibly horrible. The amoeba should be attacked right away with all of their available tools, including chemicals and attempts to consume them alive. Neutrophils self-destruct in order to build chemically lethal barriers. An intense conflict follows. In fact, Naegleria Fowleri is able to respond by attacking and eliminating numerous immune cells. The immune system is currently attacking the intruder with everything it has, but in vain. Small protein bombs that can kill invaders on their own are easily neutralized in the complement system. Antibodies, which are typically one of your powerful weapons, are simply sucked up or destroyed. Since the amoeba really thrives in the heat, a high fever that often slows down adversaries has no effect. The amoeba keeps growing, fighting, and consuming your brain cells throughout. There is a devastating domino effect. Inflammation is one of the main things your immune cells do when they fight, which sends a lot of fluid from your bloodstream to the infection site. More fluid therefore enters the brain as the conflict continues to rage on without a clear victor. The sufferer will now begin to experience symptoms that quickly worsen. The beginning of it all is very hazy. A headache, fever, nausea, and vomiting. Serious symptoms such as confusion, trouble concentrating, exhaustion, seizures, and hallucinations start to manifest as the brain's war quickly spreads across it. The huge swelling of the brain is prevented from expanding by the bones that surround it. The brain stem, which governs functions like respiration, is therefore compressed and rendered inoperable, often in a week. Up to 97% of those who contract the amoeba infection suffer the same outcome. Almost always, by the time a Naegleria Fowleri infection is discovered, the terrible war for the brain has already progressed to the point that there is little that can be done. In addition to the lack of effective treatments, there are many unanswered concerns regarding how an amoeba that usually lives in open water can so successfully subvert our immune system. How concerned should you be about this terrifying killer amoeba then? Okay, not really. There have only been a few hundred cases in recent decades, despite the fact that Naegleria Fowleri is unquestionably exceedingly fatal and the infection is genuinely horrible. In a pool, drowning is a much greater risk than infection. The amoeba needs to obtain a strong grip, pass through the first lines of your defenses, and flush itself high up your nose, among other things. Neither is Naegleria Fowleri bad or a serious threat to the public's health. But some unfortunate folks must cope with it every year. Naegleria Fowleri will continue to be this hazy and terrifying monster, searching in puddles, lakes, and occasionally pools, as long as we can't figure out how to treat it. Usually, it's for microorganisms, but occasionally it's for people as well. We appreciate you watching this video. Furthermore, it is the ideal way to back the work we do on this channel. You can, however, subscribe to our YouTube channel and watch our videos regularly. Please click the YouTube like button for algorithm and receive updates and notifications about our upcoming videos. You will learn about the other So What story during the thrilling excursion we will take you on next.